Welcome to today's talk, which is part of a special series I created during COVID-19. My name is Regina DeMeo, and I'm a family law attorney in Maryland and DC. I've been practicing for over 20 years. And one of the things that a lot of my divorce clients struggle with is dating after their divorce is over. So today, I'm very honored to have a special guest, Amy Schoen, who's been a dating coach for quite some time. Thanks for being here, Amy.
Oh, thanks for having me, Regina. This is fun.
Absolutely. So, the question I think a lot of people are asking is, what does dating look like during COVID-19?
Well, it's very interesting. I have a whole bunch of clients who are dating during the COVID, and I just got off the phone with a man who's widowed in his 60s, and he actually socially distanced met a woman that he's been talking to and met once before, the shutdown, and has been in touch with her constantly. And they get on the phone. And he says he talks to her a couple of hours, and it really flows. And so dating is what you want to make it. It really is about for those who are seriously searching and stuck at home, and they really, they're lonely and they want to meet someone, and they wanted to meet someone before all this happened. So people are dating online. That is really the most where people are mostly. And I heard that matches traffic is up 25%. So normally the best time to be online is right after New Year's, and the whole time from New Year's through Valentine's Day in February. However, because we're stuck at home and we have nothing better to do, online dating has maintained to be the top way that people are meeting. Now, dating has become a little bit more old-fashioned in a way. People are taking time to get to know one another. They're spending time on the phone, talking. They're video conferencing if they're willing to get on. My older clients, though, don't want, it's funny, some of the ladies don't want to be seen because maybe their gray is coming out or something like that. But you really get to see if people are meshing, whether it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and, the physical doesn't get in the way. So recently I have a couple that met. It's a long distance relationship, actually international, and they spent 11 hours on Zoom together over the weekend. And they were having meals together. They were going to church together. They were watching a movie together. I just was quite surprised when I heard this. And they text each other every morning. They talk on the phone. They spend time together on the video in the evening. Now they're reading books together and they're learning together. So I even had a couples coaching session with the two of them. Relationship. So you can make it what you want. Some people think that, yeah.
So which are the most popular apps that your clients are using?
Well, my clients are actually, you have the apps and you have your traditional dating sites. And even without the pandemic, over 80% of my successfully coupled clients have met through online dating. And the last 8 clients within the last 8 months all met through, online dating. So, so the apps, it really depends on you. It depends on your age. It depends on your relationship goals, what feels right for you. There's the traditional sites like Match, eHarmony, JDate, and Christian Mingle, to name a few. And there are sites that supposedly, if you looked online, which are the top dating sites, you want to go where there's the biggest volume, but you also want to be conscious of where people in your geographic area are. So there's kind of a herd mentality. And I know that I have clients and friends in Florida who, like, Plenty of Fish is very active in Florida, in the Miami, Southern Florida area. Whereas here, Plenty of Fish is really not doing it for my clients.
Right.
So, you do have now the younger group, like I would say under 40, are doing the apps like Coffee Meets Bagel, Tinder, Bumble. And my nephew, who's in his mid-30s, met his wife on Hinge. But it's not working for my, I would say, over 40 clients. And so again, I haven't had a client yet meet through an app. So when you're talking about that, now Match has an app, and a lot of these sites have apps, but they're still what I call a traditional dating site.
Okay. And do you have maybe 3 tips you'd give to people that are, re-entering the dating scene and are having to use apps or sites for the first time?
Well, of course, invest in a good picture that looks natural and puts your best foot forward. But you want to also make sure it looks like you. So when they meet you, they're like, oh, this looks like you. You don't want to put a picture of you from 10 years ago. That's just not fair.
Right.
You really want someone to, if they don't like the way you look, then it's not going to be any better when they meet you and eventually meet you. You want to share your long-term goals up front. What are your goals for dating? If you want to get remarried, then say so. If you just want a long-term relationship and that's what you want, then say so. I've had clients who, like this one, the couple that met internationally, they both want to get remarried and they're both divorced and from previous marriages, right? And so they're very honest about their goals and they're both on the same page and they both see themselves as getting remarried someday. The third thing is to share your life vision with your partner and your core relationship values. So we connect through values. And it's important to express really, what you need to feel fulfilled in a relationship. So, I had a client, Michael, he was divorced, no kids, and he was very involved in a charity that, because his mother passed away from leukemia and lymphoma. And because of that, and he expressed it in his profile, a woman saw that. Actually, her daughter, who's in her 20s, is dealing with this issue with her daughter, that she's got that. And she thought that he would be understanding, and they connected. They just clicked, and within a couple of months, they're already engaged.
Wow.
And yeah, so.
So I think it takes a lot of patience to do to meet the right person and do a lot of vetting. You get some creepy people online. What do you find to be the biggest obstacle in terms of finding a good partner?
I think as a readiness factor, you have to be ready to bring a person into your life. I've seen clients that are not ready. I bring my life coaching skills into the session and to see what's getting in their way, what's really important for their life, and what are their goals. And in the Motivated Married Dating Secrets program, my online program, I name it external roadblocks. Like, for instance, Adriana, she was living in the Virgin Islands, and she actually was from Mexican and from Mexico City. And through the coaching, we moved her back to Mexico City. So she was with her family, and she has a bigger pool of people to choose from, and that's how she met her life partner. One of my clients was involved with moving and some things from work, and it took us a while to really get him settled and ready for a relationship. And he's the kind of guy who just has to do things in very steps. He can't multitask very well. And so once he was settled, he got online and then he met his girlfriend, and they're very serious about each other. And then I had one client who came to me, and she was in what I call a toxic job, and it was really bringing her down. So, through the coaching, she realized that what she really wanted was to get married and have a family. She left her job. She took a sabbatical. She worked on herself. And then at that time, she met her husband. Yeah. So sometimes we have to put ourselves be in the best place. And when people are ready and looking for relationships, they want to know that you're ready to put them as a priority. You may not be your first priority. When we have children, most people understand that the kids are important and take priority. Yet they want to feel like that you want to spend time with them. You're willing to put them as a top priority in their lives. And so really kind of clearing out that space to have somebody in your life. Yeah. So yeah, things get in the way, like health and family issues. I've seen that, those kind of things as well.
So some of us are kind of more go with the flow and just see what the universe presents to us in dating. And then there's other people that are much more methodical. And I think you've termed something a dating plan that you like for your clients to have. What does a dating plan look like?
Well, I really like my clients to be really what I call strategic and not haphazard about meeting people. And when you are ready, it's really about, and I find that most of my clients are busy people, so they want to be time efficient. So we really maximize the top ways to meet people. And I do personalize every dating plan based on my clients' personalities, their time availability, their values, their interests, and their passions. So first we look at online dating and, what would work best for my client and what groups, and then second, we look at what groups, they maybe would join, whether it be Meetup or other social groups in their area. And right now, the best chance of meeting person is online, but there are Meetup groups and other social groups that are creating opportunities right now virtually. I know I've been giving some talks for some meetups and some other social groups. And there's some speed dating, there's some other things that are going on right now. But I don't want my clients to be in like 20 groups running around with their head, I'd rather them pick like 3 to 5, depending on their personality, that they feel comfortable with, and they think the kind of people they want to hang out with. So I had a client, his name, and he ended up joining a Facebook group. And then because he's a real type A, he ended up like hosting events. And so he hosted this event and this woman came and they clicked and now they're together, so it was because he really took a role and created his own opportunity, in a sense. And then third, you have to use your network. You have a social network and you have people who really are your fans, and some people are like embarrassed to ask people to introduce them, and they're very reluctant to ask their connectors. And then I have a worksheet called, who are your connectors? And those are people who know people who can introduce you. But you can go back to like your college friends. You can go back to, when you tell people, listen, this is something that's a priority for me this right now, and I really want to meet someone. Now, if you normally say, hey, do you know somebody? Most people look like deer in the headlights and say, I can't think of anybody. And tell them 5 to 7 things that they need to know about this person, and we really drill it down to the essence of who this person is, then you kind of put something in their head, and they may not think of somebody right then, but when they meet that person, they say, this is someone that I really think that Regina would really get along with. I would like to introduce them. So I think people want to help you out, and your best connectors are people maybe who are married or in happy relationships, those kind of things. And then there's always that guy who is your friend and you would never consider dating. So I do provide like a template. It's, in my dating plan, it's kind of like a paint by numbers, kind of thing, where you get to think about what you want in which meetup groups and what's important to you and all that kind of thing. So I like to provide structure, and it's really about helping you really drill down to what's going to hopefully work for you. And it's a working document because we have to try some things out, see what works, and then we refine it as we go along.
So when people are working with a dating coach, are you doing like a package? Are you signing up for a certain number of sessions? Like, how does that work?
Well, I mean, the best thing is to really, when you invest in coaching, it is something that it does take time. And I have like 6-month coaching packages. I also have group packages. However, because we have to work on a couple of things and we have a lot to accomplish. And I usually meet with my clients around twice a month. And they also get, in the Diamond Coaching Package, they get email and text access to me. So if they have questions in between, I have a community of motivated married singles, both on Facebook, and then my own private community for people going through my program. And so I do these twice a month coaching club calls. I have a lot of different ways to interact with me. So, I try to provide things at all different budgets and cost levels. I mean, some people just decide to do my online coaching program, the Motivated Married Dating Secrets program, and then they come on the coaching club calls because that is the the most affordable way to work with me. But those people who want that one-on-one attention, they actually go for the diamond coaching package. And I'm a professional life coach first. So I really want to look at how dating and relationships are fitting into your whole life, and take each piece like that. So we can do a lot more together as a life coach. And I think this is a really important time, especially coming out of a marriage. And I know this was true for me. And I hired a coach when I actually turned 40, to really get clear about my life vision. What do I want for myself first? And then you talk about who's a good partner given your life goals. Because I find, number one, you have to be going in the same direction and want the same things. And what I find is sometimes you meet somebody who you have chemistry with and your goals are divergent. Well, that relationship will not last for the long term. That you'll have some fun with that person, but then there'll be a point. And I had, a client who was in her mid 50s and divorced with kids still at home. And she met this guy who was 10 years older than her, and he was retired, and they had a really good time together, but he dumped her for an older woman who lived in his building, who could go on a sailboat on a moment's notice. And she was in her second career. She still had a kid that she had to launch. And, they really liked each other, and there was a lot of chemistry there, but in the end, it didn't last. And so, you have to find somebody who's in the same stage of life that you are, and who can accept your life, the whole package we talk about,
Yeah,
so.
no, it makes sense. So if people want to reach you, what's the best way to contact you?
I think, through my website. Not everyone is motivated to marry. Some people are seriously searching for true love. And so that's a decision everybody makes. And so, yes, motivatedtomarry.com. I have some free things. I have a blog. I have a podcast. And, you can just get to know me. If you want to join my Facebook group, I do a weekly newsletter. I like to provide a lot of information, and if this feels like something that you want more and you want someone to help you on an individual basis, I'm always happy to talk to someone and meet a new person and make a new friend.
Great. So if people want to tune in for more episodes, you can follow me on Gen X Smarty, and my office is in Bethesda, Maryland. Amy, it's been so great talking to you today. Thanks for taking the time to share some tips about dating during COVID-19.
Thanks again, Regina.
Absolutely. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.